Candle first story, The Light in the Cemetery. Location, Jordan, Karak Governorate. Time, summer 2011. In a remote village surrounded by mountains and ancient cemeteries, there was a young man named Saif, who had worked as a guard at a large cemetery since the death of his father, who had held the position before him. The cemetery is located on a high hill, and no one dares to visit it at night because of the tales surrounding it, strange noises, sightings of lights moving between the graves, and the long shadow, as the villagers call it. Saif didn't believe in superstitions. But one night, while inspecting the area after midnight, he saw a weak light, resembling the glow of a candle, moving slowly between the graves. He thought someone had sneaked into the cemetery, perhaps to commit something illegal. He took his flashlight and headed toward the light, but the closer he got, the more distant it seemed to be, dragging Saif deeper into the cemetery. He didn't realize that he had strayed from the familiar paths and entered an old section that had been abandoned for decades. There, he found an open grave. But there was no body inside. Only a yellow piece of paper lying on the dirt, written on it. "Saif, we've come back looking for you. Didn't you miss your father?" His blood froze. He had never told anyone his full name in the new village, and no one knew he was the son of the former guard. He ran to escape, but he heard footsteps chasing him among the graves, and a voice resembling his father's, saying in a hollow voice, "Why did you leave me here, my son?" Saif has never been found. His phone was found near the open grave, and the last image on the camera was of a tall shadow standing right behind him. Candle Story 2, The Closed Passage, full version. Location, Egypt, Cairo. Time, winter 2005. In the heart of Old Cairo, there was a school founded in the 1930s. It was a huge colonial-style building with high windows, high ceilings, and thick walls brimming with history, or rather, secrets. Uncle Jaber had worked as a night watchman at the school for over 20 years. He was a simple man who hated exaggerated stories and didn't believe in superstitions. He knew every corner of the school, every creaking door, and every sound source, or so he thought. One bitter winter night, he noticed a dim light emanating from an old corridor in the building's western wing. That wing had been closed for 15 years due to a collapsed ceiling and a strange rumor that a student had been killed there during a fight, which had then been hushed up. Oddly, the light wasn't electric. It resembled the light of an old lantern, flickering and dancing on the walls. Jaber picked up his cane and decided to investigate. He entered the corridor with cautious steps. The air there was heavier, as if something invisible was filling the space. The closer he got, the stronger the musty smell, and he saw something that made him stop abruptly. The footprints of small, wet feet on the floor, but they were heading towards him, not the other way around. Then he heard a faint sound resembling a child's laughter, but the strange thing was that it lasted longer than any normal laugh. He opened the classroom door, which was illuminated by light, and found a completely deserted room. However, on the blackboard was written in fresh chalk, "You shouldn't have opened the door." On the wall hung something strange, an old photograph from a classroom in the 1950s. Amidst the standing students, he could see a black, featureless face, but staring directly into the camera. Jaber ran out, but didn't reach the school door. Halfway through the corridor, he felt the ground beneath his feet begin to shake, and he heard the sound of doors closing automatically behind him, one after the other. Behind him, he heard the same childish voice, but this time it said clearly, "Now, you're one of us." In the morning, they didn't find Uncle Jaber, even though all the doors were locked from the inside. But on the guard's desk was his old notebook, and on the last page he had written, "I'm not alone here. The walls can hear, and the corridor calls." Since that night, no guard dared to stay in the school at night. Candle the third story, house number 13. Location, Algeria, Constantine. Time, 1998. Nadhir was a young man looking for an apartment to rent after deciding to become independent from his family. He found a tempting offer, a large, inexpensive apartment in an old building called the Blue Residence. The apartment was numbered 13, and he was told that the number was just a coincidence. On the first night, he began hearing soft tapping sounds on the walls, as if someone were scratching with their fingernails. He ignored it. But the sounds increased, turning into barely audible whispers. Night after night, the tapping became closer, and the whispers became clearer. Until he heard a female voice say, "He's in. The door won't close now." He tried to leave the apartment, but found the door locked, as if an invisible force was holding him from the other side. He started screaming, but no one heard him. When he looked out the window to call for help, he saw all the residents of the building standing in the street, staring directly at him, with no one moving. In the morning, his brother came to visit him. He didn't find him. Everything was in its place except one thing. In the middle of the bedroom, there was a circle drawn in ash, inside which was a handwritten phrase. "He is with us now." Since that day, no one has rented house number 13, and everyone who enters it either goes crazy or disappears, just as Nazir did.